Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, fuck everybody, just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason, though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate again. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, fuck everybody, just do your thing.
I pushed the wrong button again. Thank you, Deacon. Did you turn that off? Good morning, everybody.
I turned what off?
Oh, I thought you turned something off. I
No.
thought you turned the video off. Why
I
am I so big and
I
beautiful?
muted you at one point during the video when you were like slurping or doing something, and I was like, "Oh, his microphone's still." Yeah. my bad.
Good morning. Good coffee, everybody. Hope everybody has a nice warm cup of coffee. It is Monday morning. It is the start of a brand new week.
Dude, do you wake up and have pains that just are in random
Dude,
spots that you're like, where the hell? Why am I hurting here? I'm hurting in my side back this
Sometimes.
morning that I'm like, what the hell?
Let me
I
tell
mean,
you, I got some physical discomforts this weekend for sure.
some physical discomforts.
Yeah. Well, you know, that rain, the weather's changing, dude. The
Oh,
weather,
Yeah.
you know, and like, you know, I can't be an old man unless I blame the weather on how my body feels. I feel like that's a requirement, prerequisite.
Yeah.
The weather's, you know, temperatures dropping down. We're getting ready to move into the autumn. It's my favorite season because it gets nice and cool. I get to wear long sleeve stuff and, you know, be
and as
bundled
as
up. But
as we've gotten
Well-
older, our body is more affected by the change in the weather. When we're younger, it doesn't matter. We don't care.
Yeah.
But now that we're
Right.
older, I'm like, oh God, it's freaking 40 degrees
can-
outside this
you're
morning.
young, you can trip and fall. Your whole stuff's all scraped up. You're bleeding. You just come walk it off.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So the weather's dropping, the temperature's changing, and my right knee is just like it's not exactly inflamed, but I'm like, I can't, it hurts so much just walking around. So it's and so my knee's a problem. And then like all the time I wake up and my feet hurt, you know, from I don't know.
My feet hurt. My back, my lower back, my core of my lower back around L4, L5, L4, and L3 is just, I feel like somebody's just crunching it all the time. So, well, good. Yeah. I woke up this morning. I had a random pain over here in my side, and I'm like, where the hell is this coming from? Oh, it's just been bothering me all morning. I'm like, oh, every time I move, I'm like, oh, where is it coming from?
So far this morning, it started raining about 4 o'clock.
Oh, y'all got some rain?
Oh yeah, we got some rain.
Have y'all been getting a lot of rain there in Texas? Because we need some rain here in Kentucky. Bad.
Oh yeah, you got it dry right now.
Bad. The Mississippi River is so dry right now. How dry is it? No, this is like the start of a joke. It's not. There are parts of the Mississippi River that you can walk out to these places across the riverbed that you've never been able to like. These grandparents are taking their grandchildren out there because the last time they did it, they were like children. It was like 70 years ago or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, we're needing a lot of, I was talking about it in my news right now. We're needing a lot of water here in Kentucky. It's bad. A lot of fires over the weekend. There were like, I don't know, dozens of fires over the weekend because of it. So it's good that you're getting rain. Yeah, it's bad here.
Well, it is good to get rain. It's not good to get woken up at 4 o'clock in the morning by your daughter who heard it rain and then screamed and cried, because after that, there was no real going back to sleep, because, I got her back to sleep, and then I'm laying in bed like, come on, I can sleep for like 30 minutes. I can sleep for like 30 minutes, right?
Nope.
And the whole time I'm like, oh, my knee hurts. And if I make too much noise, I'll wake up my wife again.
Yeah.
So I've been awake since like 4:20. And hey, let me tell you one more thing, sir. I have a dog. I have a dog. We've had her for
Ruby?
a couple months now.
Ruby.
Yeah, Ruby. Ruby's a princess. Ruby gets taken to work with me during the day, and
cool.
She gets treats and kibbles and stuff. At 4:30 or 5 o'clock, when we got up to go handle my daughter, I also let my dog out to go pee, but it's raining, and she's a princess. So instead of that, she decided it would be a little more comfortable for her to take a shit in my house on the living room floor. So
that's where I like to go.
Yeah,
when it's raining.
So I'm also cleaning up Duke.
Oh, well,
no problem. That's
that'll
easy.
wake you up. That'll wake you up in the morning, though. I mean, you're not going to be sleepy after that.
Of course. I was like, yeah, well, how could I not? How could I not just go back to sleep right now? All right.
No,
how was your weekend?
The weekend was good. Ashley had a class reunion, so she had some animosity leading up to the class reunion for a couple of weeks, as most people do. I think it probably affects women more than it affects guys. But I had a little animosity to when I went to like the 10-year reunion, and I thought, this is nothing but high school still. These people are still the exact same. And you know, when you go to your 20-year reunion and your 25-year reunion, you want me to tell you something, folks? It's all the same. They're the same people.
You spend 10 or 20 years moving on in your life, and then you go back to your high school reunion. You are literally going back in your life. You're not showing everybody I made it. You're showing everybody I made it far enough that I can come back to this thing.
And that's what we were talking about, our conversation. And I said, why are you going to this? Why? Because she was having an animosity. And I was like, why do you want to go to this? And you want to go to see 2 or 3 friends that you really enjoyed and you haven't got to spend a lot of time with in a while. Don't worry about the bitches that gave you hell. Don't worry about them. You get to look at them and kind of pick at them, but have fun with your friends. And she did. We had a really good time. I met one of her friends' husbands who is from England, and he had a very thick English accent. So me and him sat by the fire and talked nerdy stuff all night. And every time either one of our spouses would walk by, they'd be like, "Are y'all good?" And we'd be like, "So in Werewolf by Night, did you really like
yeah."
So he was it was really cool. So we had a good time. We had a good time this weekend.
Yeah. It's been 26 years since I saw some of those people, and I've gotten by pretty good. Okay, not thinking about them once for 26 years. I'm gonna
Yeah.
see if I can go 50.
Yeah.
I'm
That's what
gonna
I
see if I
was,
can go.
that's what we were, me and him were having the conversation because he was like, "This is an American thing that y'all do." He said, "We don't do this over there in England and whatnot." I was like, "Really?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, I
No,
really have
you
never
grow up and start your
understood.
own life.
Yeah, I was like, I really never understood the class reunion thing either. But I had to tell my really good friend whenever our 25-year one was, it was 2 or 3 years ago, and he was really trying to get me to go, and it was like $50 or $60 to go to this damn thing, and I was like, dude. Why am I going to pay $50 for to see a bunch of fucking people I see at Walmart every time I go? You know, why do I want to pay $50 to see people that have never said one word to me in my life,
Yeah,
but yet they want to be my Facebook friend? And they're nosy ass narcissists that I don't give two shits about. So yeah, that, I mean, it was funny. She had a good time though. She got to see her friends. There's a couple of friends that I would really like to see and have a conversation with that, if I went to a class reunion and I knew they were coming, I would probably go. But it's one of those things. It's like, I think I only want to see them for like 10 minutes. I only want to have like
right.
a 10-minute conversation and then I'm done. I don't want to hang out with you for 2 or 3 hours. I just want to be like, "Hey, how are you? How was life? That's cool. Your kids are cute. Let's go." I'm done. Remember when we did that cool thing in high school? Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
that
Let's
was
go.
so great.
That was awesome back then, huh?
You
We're
got
old.
anything else to talk about? No,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. Well,
bye.
it's cool. Nice to see you. Yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe you are maybe a little bit more of even a
Curmudgeon.
social person than I
Yeah.
am. At least you have a practiced radio habit of faking wanting to interact with people. I
Yeah.
would I would just be there like unless somebody asked me a question, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'll talk about that. Otherwise, I'd be like, I don't really care about like
Ashley says I'm
whatever.
an
Oh,
extrovert, and I'm really not an extrovert. My inner core, my natural self is an
right.
introvert. I walk in, I don't want to talk to anybody. I want you to leave me alone. I want to go to the corner. I would just want everybody to just leave me alone. But
Yeah.
I have worked in radio for 30 years and I've worked in morning radio for about 26 of those 30 years. So I've had to learn to be an extrovert. So go ahead. I got to talk real quick.
Well, it's I mean, like I get it because
No, I
I'm
don't.
also a naturally introverted person, and but for some years I had to be. I was in retail sales when I was a
Mm.
younger fella, and like you're not gonna sell anything if you don't talk to
You
people.
don't
So
talk to people.
it becomes a practiced skill. You got like you put tools and workflow in place how to kind of like start to talk to somebody, ask them some questions, give them an opportunity to talk, back and forth, and then it's not something comfortable, but just like anything else, you can practice it and kind of become adept. And now,
Mhm,
the
mhm.
difference between an introvert and an extroverted person is that an introverted person is going to be depleted more and more and more the longer this goes on. The more that you've got to engage with other people and satisfy kind of their whatever they need,
Just
you're just getting drained of
mhm,
energy. And if you
mhm.
don't, and if you go too far, it will collapse you. On
Yeah.
the other hand, extroverts are vampires
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
they will just gobble all of that energy up and they'll just be like and eat
I
all it up and then they'll be like, oh, you withered and dead, I'll just go to the
I
next one.
had I had a buddy that, his nickname was Swami. We called him Swami. And Swami was the most, still to this day, he's probably 50. Still to this day, he was one of the most extroverted people I've ever seen. He can make friends wherever he goes. He walks into a room. He's not, I always used him as an example of 2 or 3 different things. He was not the most handsomest man you've ever seen. And he would tell you, no, I'm not handsome, but he had confidence. And when he walked into a room, he wasn't like he was, but he walked into a room with confidence, and you could look at him and tell he had confidence and whatnot. We were sitting when in our 20s when we were all single, and we were sitting at TGI Fridays is where we were at. We were at a long table, and there was a long table of girls, a couple of tables down. And Swami was like, here, he grabbed my napkin and he was like wadding it up. He threw it. He was throwing paper wads at these girls and it was hitting them in the hair, you know, it's hitting them in the head. And that one girl turned around and she was like, stop it, get down paper. And he was like, you know, kind of, and he was like, let me out. And we let him out and he walked over to that table and like 3 minutes he's going, I don't know how he done it. It was his, or I do know how he done it. It was his confidence and he was that much of an extrovert. You know, he could go and I always just watched him and was just kind of like amazed at how easy it was for him to walk into a room and be friends with 90% of the room and 90% of the room really being like, I like that guy. It's cool. I walk into a room and I'm like,
I mean, it's a superpower for some people. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
Or they might be a sociopath. You don't know.
You want to wear your face. So,
yeah, you don't know. I mean, but whatever. All right. Well, good morning. Good morning, Deacon. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to rumble.com/JJW or wherever else you're watching this on lesser streaming platforms. I want to just say good morning. Hope you guys have had a good weekend. And we're here every morning at Monday through Friday, 6:30 in the morning to talk about coffee, news, politics, movies, TV, like whatever is in pop culture. Sometimes we got good news, sometimes we got bad news. And this morning we got a little bad news.
Oh, no bad news.
Yeah, well, it's not news because it happened a couple days ago. So it happened on it happened over the weekend whilst we were on our weekend break. But we have to, pardon you, excuse you, sir.
Sorry. I've hit my button down here, but I hit the wrong microphone.
I want to, it's on my list of like things to get. I want to get one of those Elgato dock things where you can like hit a button, you know, and like mute, switch camera, whatever, something.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know, change, you know, eventually. Robbie Coltrane, the actor who played Hagrid in Harry Potter, died at 72 years old. 72 years old. If you remember nothing else the man ever said, you probably remember the line, "You're a wizard, Harry," or something like that, right? Harry. But I mean, this is this guy right here. This is his real self, right? But I think this person and this character is probably beloved, certainly by people that are a little younger than us, probably your kids, right? Your kids probably watched Harry Potter movies, right?
He was in a lot of stuff, though. I mean, Harry Potter was like the latest thing that he was in, but you really can't say that was the biggest thing that he was in because he's been in. I mean, I'm not saying you did, but I'm saying Harry Potter was. I don't know. It might have been his biggest role, probably. I guess.
Multi-billion-dollar franchise.
You're right. I guess that is his biggest role. But what I was getting at, I guess I said it wrong. What I was getting at is he's been around for a long time, and he's funny. Remember him and was it Eric Idle? That movie about the nuns? They were like burglars, and they were nuns. It was a comedy in the 80s, man, and it was hilarious. And he was in Krull. Remember Krull?
Was he really in Krull?
Mm-hmm. He was in Krull.
Wow. That is a I don't know, kind of a milestone in 1980s, like pointless action movies.
Yeah. Pointless fantasy movie that nothing ever came of it.
Yeah. It's really amazing action fantasy.
And it's really amazing that they haven't redone that. You know? It's really amazing that movie is 40 years old next year and nobody's ever redone it.
Don't give Hollywood another.
Remember that thing that he got, that knife star that he would throw.
Yes, that was like the whole gimmick of the movie. The whole gimmick of the movie is this weird like throwy blade thing. Yeah. Anyway, so he was in that. That's a sinister looking tie you were wearing there, Robbie. Well, so you know,
Robbie
bad news, sad news.
Was also in. I just watched this not too long ago. Is why I remember. He was in European Vacation. Remember National Lampoon's European Vacation?
Really?
He had a bit part in that movie where the Griswolds stay in that little bitty bed and breakfast place in England that's like they have the rooms that are like little bitty and there's one bathroom. He's the guy in the bathroom in the tub when Beverly D'Angelo, when Ellen comes in and she thinks it's Clark in the tub and she's getting all frisky and taking off her clothes. It's really Robbie Coltrane in the bath, and he's like, I don't even think he has a speaking part, but it's funny. I just saw that the other day. I was like, where have I seen that young face at? And it was right there. So yeah, he's a good actor. Yeah, good stuff.
Okay. Let's see. Deacon, I know that you've been probably saving up to binge watch it, so I don't want to spoil anything for you.
I was waiting until the last episode came out.
Yeah. And now?
What you're talking about.
Oh.
We're talking about She-Hulk.
Yeah, She-Hulk.
I knew what you were going at. I can read your mind.
Of course. Could She-Hulk season 2 happen? MCU show creator has a blunt response, but I picked out. Do you remember, Deacon, when I said, like probably on the first episode I was on, this thing was on, maybe the second episode, I was like, this isn't She-Hulk. This is some single childless wine lady with cats writing about her own miserable, horrible life of dating and Tinder apping or whatever. It's got no comedy. It's got no legal at all in it. It's just garbage. Well, if you let's see if is a quote in here, because I know here it is. I found this quote from this part of this story, and it's looking like maybe surprisingly the audience is not in love with She-Hulk. But there's a quote here. On the heels of the series finale, comicbook.com caught up with Jessica Gao to discuss She-Hulk Attorney at Law Season 2 chances. The MCU creator didn't offer confirmation on whether discussions were happening for the show's future, instead expressing a need to take a breather before continuing and comparing making this series to childbirth. She said, I feel like this must be what it feels like for people who have had kids.
Yeah, it's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah, I was like, I knew it. You don't have kids. You've just been drinking wine and unsuccessful in a relationship.
There's a whole generation of people that's growing up that they do not want to have kids because they look at kids as like this detriment,
impediment to your life.
Yeah,
instead they are your life.
An impediment to your lifestyle. This lifestyle that I did not have before I had kids. I had a vision for my lifestyle. And I had a different lifestyle. And I used to joke. I joked after I had kids. I made this joke. I was like, I used to have hobbies. I used to have things that I spent my money on before kids. And now I have kids. But that was like my meaning of life. My meaning of life was to be a father. And I did not know that when I didn't have kids. I would have never known that. So I just think it's funny. I see this whole generation of people and they do that and they're saying this, and then they're going to be like, when they're older, I think they're going to be missing something fundamental. But I could be wrong. Maybe they're not. People are different. I don't know.
It is my judgment on this woman. I've never met or talked to, that she has spent her life and career trying to become, becoming a writer in Hollywood, to, be an artist, express herself or whatever, and is missing out on all the important things in life to accomplish that goal. And the product of her efforts, the product of the sacrifices she's made in life, not only has she sacrificed having a family, probably having any healthy relationships, and she's given all of those things up for now to become a 30-something middle-aged, probably kind of dried up, and there's a point where you can't have kids anymore. And she has made She-Hulk Attorney at Law. I hope that is sacrifice is worthwhile to her.
But it's not. I'm sorry, but however she means with this akin to childbirth, she could have come up with a better analogy.
I mean,
probably.
I don't know. This isn't your two moms. I mean, I have no opinion about that. So maybe moms will express an opinion about that. I'm just saying, I got that dart right in the bullseye. On like the first day, I was like, I know who this person is. This person is does not need to be making a show talking about somebody's life. All right. But with that being said, Deacon, do not let me discourage you from watching the entire show this weekend. Just binge it. It's
What
probably
did I
like
watch this weekend? Oh, I finished
couple
Rings of
hours.
Power.
Oh, was that good? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Can I
sir.
spoil it?
Huh?
Halbrad is Sauron.
Huh? How what is Sauron?
Harbard, whatever his name is, the blacksmith.
Halbrand. Yeah.
Halbrand.
Do you want to say how did you did you watch
Halbrad.
it?
I don't know what it is. I haven't watched it. I'm not watching that.
How did you know that?
Because despite the fact that I have no interest in this show, I keep hearing people talk about it, and
Oh.
every time they're like, "Oh yeah," like, "Oh hey, let me see if
I
I
want to
can."
go
Let me
back
see
and
if
watch it now just to see the nuances in the story about how they led up to things. And there was another major character that was revealed at the very end as well.
Oh yeah.
There was the stranger that came down that was helping the little hobbits. They're called Harefoots, but they was helping the hobbits.
Oh
And there
yeah.
was a
Okay,
stranger, and
so
nobody knew who that was. And he kind of said he said a line at the very well. You knew who it was by then, but he said a line at the very end that kind of solidified who he was.
was it Gandalf?
Yeah, yeah. He said,
Oh,
"Always follow
oh,
your nose." He looked at her and was like, "You
okay.
always follow your nose."
Let
And I
me
was
let
like,
me
"That's
ask you.
Gandalf."
Let me ask you about two things related to Rings of Power. I didn't know you were even watching it. Otherwise, I would have been asking you questions and stuff.
Everybody
One,
hates
if
it, so
you
I didn't want to tell anybody I actually liked it because everybody had
now
been like, "Oh, you're stupid because you like something that we all hate."
like
So
it, I don't care. I just want to know one, if you took this show and you took what are they, Harfoots? They're not hobbits
Harfoot.
because that would be copyright violation, or they don't have a
No, it's
license
not
for
copyright
hobbits.
violation. It's a natural evolution of what they would have
Uh,
done.
okay, but they're
No,
not hobbits.
it might have been, but it's natural evolution of what they were done, and I think it was a really neat thing. I would have done
Okay,
the same thing in my fantasy world if I was telling 2,000 years before.
okay, all right.
I would have. I thought that
So
was cool.
I heard that if you remove the Harfoots from the series, nothing would have changed in the overall arc. Is that true or not true?
No, that's completely false
Okay,
because
all right.
they
That's
had
what I
a
meant.
major role in finding the fucking stranger
Mhm.
and shaping him into what he was. He was good. That was the thing at the very end. I think because he's Istar and they're a different race, that they're not from this world, they're from another world. And he comes down. Sauron was Istar, so were the wizards. Morgoth was Valinor, I think. He wasn't an Istar, he was a Valinor, and they were more powerful. You got to
What's
think
an
of
E-star? What's an E-star?
Istar were are the wizards. That's just a race. That was the race
Oh,
that they
okay.
called. But they were the wizards. They were from somewhere else and they could do the magic. That not everybody on Middle Earth could do the magic, but the wizards could. And there were two blue ones, a brown one, a white one, and a gray one. And then Sauron. And they come down and then in this series the Istar come down, he landed, and the Nori found the little Harfoot girl, found him and went against her tribe and raised him, and he'd done all these bad things and he kept destroying stuff and messing things up, and everybody was saying he's a bumbling idiot and blah blah blah, but she had faith in him the whole time, and she kept telling him, no, you're good, because he was like a young child. He was trying to grasp all these things and knew and whatnot, like he was just born. And then at the end, you have these freaking people that have come in and they're like, we've found you. You're evil. You're Sauron. And he's like, and she at the very end, he's like, I'm ruining it for everybody, so I don't care.
Spoilers. Should have watched it already.
He saves the freaking hobbits and he's like, no, I'm good. And he changes. And that's when you're like, oh, so okay.
So they made Gandalf good.
They basically made
Okay.
Gandalf. And then you
Well,
look at it now, you're like, isn't that cool? So they went backwards and told this story. And now this is kind of why Gandalf has an aptitude, kind of he leans towards the hobbits.
hey,
He kind
you're
of
not
has
the
a
only one.
fondness for the hobbits.
Brian also likes Rings of Power. Brian Brian Perkins from the contest server who was framed, as far as I can tell, for saying stuff that didn't happen. He got screenshot framed or whatever. Anyway, he seems to be like an okay guy. Anyway, he also liked Rings of Power. Let me ask you a question.
And I might have some of that history wrong.
It does. You know how much of the world that's going to change? It's good enough. What's your version of the story is great too. So how fuck, I can't.
Halbrand.
Right.
Halbrand.
Yeah, he was a bad guy, and then he was trying to be good, and just be a decent blacksmith, and then
I guess he was trying to blend in. Yeah, he was because I mean he said that to her at the end. He was like, "I wanted to stay in Numenor, and you wanted me to leave," and that's when I was like, when they had that whole conversation and that was revealed, I started thinking back, and I'm like, how did he get introduced? And he just did come out of nowhere in the middle of the freaking ocean. He just appeared in the middle of the ocean with these people. And I was like, what did he do in Numenor when they were there? So I really want to go back and rewatch the whole thing just to pay attention. I'd go back and watch the second and third watch throughs. You find shit that
you really liked the Lord of the Rings movies too, right? Like
they're my
Lord of the
favorite.
Rings. Yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
I love
cool.
them. I was watching the 2 Towers over the weekend.
So my understanding is, and I'm entirely not even an outside observer. I'm an outside rumor hearer. The creators of this show made this prequel that takes place thousands of years before the Lord of the Rings, and they took the female character of Galadriel, and who was basically like an elegant, queen-like, regal, wise, wizard elf or something, and they made her like a badass bitch in armor. And as I understand it, she caused Sauron. she dragged Sauron somewhere and made him a bad guy. Is that what happened? More or less.
That is what the story. This is how, as a storyteller, this is what we know. That is what the story is alluding to at this moment after the first fucking scene, after the first chat, or after the first, act.
Right.
That is what it is alluding to.
Right.
But we all know how stories go, and good stories will make you think one thing and yank the rug out from underneath you,
All right.
So I don't know, but maybe she did, and maybe that is the whole part of the story why she is the way she is, because 2,000 years ago she fucking done this. She was trying to kill him and save her brother, and inadvertently she did this. So I don't know, maybe.
Okay, well, in stories you have active characters that do things, and then you have reactive characters that kind of like, oh, something happened, and usually the hero is a reactive character. The bad guy
I don't like that. That's a shitty way of telling a story, because that's not how we need to tell stories different. I want to tell stories differently, because heroes are not always reactive. A hero is a person who's going to have actions and reactions. Every single person, even your NPCs, your non-player characters, like NPC, I call them NPC because they play D&D, but even your background people, they don't just have reactions. You have to think of them. They are people. They have actions and reactions. The story is not linear. There's other things that are going on all over the place. It's not just mine and your story right now, and everybody in the world is watching us talk on TV. There's shit happening all over the world, that's the way you think about it in your story.
I'm saying in broad,
I know, and I don't like that way
in like a mechanical sense. Usually in stories, there's a bad guy that wants something, but he's willing to do bad stuff. And then there's a good guy that's like going to stand up to the bad guy.
It's very predictable. You can tell the story right now and you know where it's going. So that's why I don't like the way of storytelling, because you're like, I can tell you what's going to freaking happen. I like having the rug yanked out from underneath my feet, like Memento.
Well, that's fun. But you can't do that all the time.
Memento over the weekend, right? You can't do it all the time, but I was like, Memento is one of those movies when it's like Fight Club. You get to a certain point, you're like, oh my God, I got to watch this movie again.
Yeah. Yeah, well, see, I think Fight Club is not a movie where the protagonist is reactive. Fight Club
Oh,
is
no.
a unique,
A very
very unique
proactive
experience.
movie. Yeah, yeah, that's a unique
I
experience.
I don't know why, I can't bridge it together, but just for a moment there, I was like, what's like one of my favorite movies, and do I have like an example or a counterexample? And I was like, I went right to like Highlander, and I was like, oh man, I'd have to think about Highlander because like
I hadn't
they're
watched that
going
in
around
so
chopping people's
long.
heads off.
Uh,
One of
Excuse
the
me.
best movies of all time.
I'm sorry for my burps this morning, everybody.
Pardon me, I just coughed too.
My pills give me gas like build up in
Yeah.
my chest, and I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No, you're good. All right. Let's
Fuck, that
see.
tastes terrible.
Don't you got to be on the air in a second or something?
I actually missed talking
Whoops,
on the air.
my bad.
Yeah, well, it was my fault, so yeah.
All right. You're not gonna get fired.
No, I have very much job security. I'm the only one that knows how to do all this.
So let's. So you posted this. I don't know. Maybe you'll tell me more about Rings of Power. Maybe I'll watch some of it. I don't know. I don't have an opinion based on anything other than like they said this, and they said this in spite of the fact that I'm like, I just don't care, and I keep hearing it. And I'm like, what's going on?
I like the Lord of the Rings, and I mean, so yeah,
I do have one more thing to say.
I liked it.
I got one more thing to say, and I don't know, but I kind of watch. Okay, so Amazon bought the rights to or whatever and ran the Wheel of Time series last year, and I think they're going to do a season 2 or whatever. And I am I'm going to say pretty much lifelong fan of the series Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan and then later Brandon Sanderson. And they effing ruined it. It's garbage. It's total trash. But but Amazon acted like it was popular on their platform, and you can go to Twitter and see like how many people are talking about the show. And I remember going to Twitter and being like, there's like 5 people and probably 4 of them are paid to talk about Twitter. It's not engendering a natural response from the audience of like, this is awesome. Wheel of Time sucked. I have not paid attention to the what is it? Rings of Power social response, but I haven't seen it. But I have seen.
It's been the most toxic fucking people.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm so sick of these people.
I mean, there's one thing about people saying that they say they hate it and sucks or whatever. But what I haven't seen is like people saying this is awesome, it's great. I haven't seen that. But I have seen Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. People are like, whoa, I have seen this stuff.
And so that is getting, man. People are sheep. God damn. It's so obvious to me. You can program people to do whatever you want, man.
Dude.
God,
I know you don't like how Game of Thrones. Let me tell you.
I'm not even bitching about Game of Thrones. It's like you can look and see what's going to be popular almost and what people are going to bitch about. You know?
I mean, I guess.
I could have told you people were going to. I mean, if you were to set up that Rings of Power and everything, you know, this is a show and blah blah blah. And if you got a bunch of people, you could have figured that out. You could have figured out what the Tolkien purists, and somebody's going to bitch because there's a black elf and a black dwarf. You know that's going to come. You're like, yeah, that's coming.
I mean, look, Rings of Power is hemmed in by, you know, like it's a prequel. It can only go to a point where it would lead up to the, you know, other shows eventually.
And that's what that's what the guy I was talking to over the weekend said. He was like, I don't understand why they didn't go afterwards. And I was like, that's a good point, because there's all kinds of stuff you can do afterwards. But here,
Brian liked Wheel of Time.
You have certain things that you have to conditions that you have to still keep. I mean, like someone that never read the Wheel of Time books that was told by everyone that I should, and I just never did because I didn't want to read 1,000 books. I know it's a lot of fun. And I've had people go, oh, if you can just chug through books 3, 7, and 12 or something like that. And I'm like, I don't want to chug through 3, 7, and 12. I liked the TV show too. I mean, I'm not a
the Wheel of Time TV show.
Yeah, I'm not a book. I didn't read the book.
Yeah, right. You were not.
I liked it. I liked the Wheel of Time TV show.
Yeah, so you weren't.
I can see though how you as a book person would probably hate it. I can see that though. I mean,
you can't see, because the stuff that happens in the book, it like so much of it happens in a place that you can't see. There was no way to visualize much of this.
oh, really?
and so they were like, well, since we can't do it like super great, we'll just do it badly, and who cares? Anyway, Wheel of Time, the TV show Wheel of Time is almost in no way at all related to the series of books. Some characters have the same names, and that's like it. Like it is not just, oh, they didn't adapt it very well. They straight up were like, oh, we'll just change things, a lot of things. So anyway, what I was getting to was, if media, if a show or a movie is like really good, really well written, really well performed, or whatever, there will be an authentic audience response. And that authentic audience response is the Star Wars response. It is like, you see Star Wars and you're like, oh my God, that blew my mind, and lightsabers or whatever. It is the reaction of the audience to some kind of art that was like really connected with them. And in today's era, when that really happens, there will be a positive expression on social media. And I'm not saying there isn't, I'm saying I haven't seen a positive expression of Rings of Power. I have seen a positive reaction to House of Thrones. What the fuck? The dragon one, the Game of Thrones dragon one, which is awesome. Is actually, there's some pretty awesome stuff going on in that show. So I know you aren't into Game of Thrones, but if you check it out, it's pretty cool. It's getting pretty cool. If you guys have thoughts about Game of Thrones, let me know. Brian says, if you like this trope kind of stuff, have you seen or heard or considered Shadow and Bone? Do you know what Shadow and Bone is?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Shadow and Bone. I've never heard of it. I'll have to look into it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Mr. E says that in modern TV, modern day storytelling, the bad guys do not use Apple devices in TVs and movies. Is that true?
Probably.
If you're a good guy, you use an iPhone. If you're a bad guy, you use Android.
I wouldn't.
All right.
They do certain things like that.
Okay, let's talk about Tom.
What color hat does the bad guy wear in the cowboy movies, JJ? What color hat?
I thought it was supposed to be black. It's supposed to be black, right?
What color hat does the good guy wear?
It's supposed to be white.
That's right.
I mean, in an era of black and white TV, like that was as clear a signal as you could send, right? Good guy, bad guy.
Yeah.
Is there a problem with that, or you think that that's like, you have an issue with black hats, white hats?
No. I was just
okay.
talking about that.
All right. This is your story, or at least you posted it in our little thing. And by the way, guys, if you haven't already, hit like, share, subscribe, whatever. We're on rumble.com and some other places, but especially rumble.com. Turns out if you watch us on rumble.com, according to Mr. E the other day, it's at 1080p, and all the other ones are like 720, but on rumble.com, we're in higher resolution. So if you want to see me and Deacon grin or smirk,
you want to see my pores.
Yeah, you want to see us in high res, go to rumble.com/JJW. And anyway, all right. Supernatural spinoff The Winchesters adds Smallville star Tom Welling to the cast. Tom Welling. I like Tom Welling.
Superman. Tom Welling.
I mean, I always liked Smallville. I thought it was great.
Smallville was a good show. I didn't watch all of it, but I've seen a lot of it.
There was like 11 seasons. I'm not watching 11
Smallville
seasons.
Smallville had John Schneider in there as well. Bo Duke.
Was he Bo or Luke? He was great as Pa Kent.
Yeah.
I thought. My opinion. Okay.
Was he Bo or Luke? I don't remember. Damn it.
I think he was Bo.
I think you're right. He was Bo. Bo Regard.
Oh. Yeah. I had a 50. Back in Dukes of Hazzard, there was like one season. I think it was a season where I guess they couldn't get a contract with Bo and Luke, and they had
Coy and
cousins
Vance.
of Bo.
Coy and Vance. Yeah, I remember cousins Coy and Vance.
They were like, well, for this, we can't get a deal struck, so we'll just switch to these other two actors. We'll say their cousins came to town.
Yeah,
That's the way in Hollywood used to be. They were like, we don't care.
You don't
It
care.
doesn't matter.
We'll bring
The
in
only
your
star on
cousin.
this show is an orange car.
Yeah, the only star in this car, the only star, it's right, it's the orange car that you can't even find anymore because they crashed so damn many of them.
Oh man, they're like hundreds. They like
Yeah.
destroyed hundreds of those cars.
I was a Supernatural watcher.
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
watched before this. I watched like I watched at the beginnings,
Oh,
and
for sure.
yeah, and I finished it. Unlike some people, I did
Oh, you
go
got all the way
way.
through?
I went all the way through. After they got
Wow.
past Leviathans, and you're like,
I mean,
okay,
I
we'll
admittedly
stand
lost
it.
track.
Oh no, it gets real silly. I mean, if you think about it, the story, it's just like,
I mean,
it's a
like
what
it starts off.
and they live where?
It starts off with like basic monsters and monster hunting. It's like vampires,
So
werewolves,
what I was always
right?
told was there was initial story. There was a storyline that went 5 seasons. It was a
Right.
beginning and an end. It was going to end after 5 seasons. The brothers and Michael and Lucifer and fighting, and it was a whole big story.
Okay.
And so after 5 seasons, they were like, "Oh my God, this is a multi-million-dollar money making. We're printing our own money. We have to keep going." So season 6 and season 7 were okay. They weren't bad, and then in season 8, it's like season 9, and then by the time it's like season 15 or 16 or whatever they ended on, you're just like, Jesus Christ, can we get this over with, please? Just wrap it up. There's only so many times these guys can die, go to hell, come back. All right. It was a big deal when you did it the first time, but after the 15th time, it's not really.
Yeah. It's like multiple times. One of them would be dead, and the other would be brooding, and they're like, "I lost my brother. It's the worst.
Lost my brother. You've lost Sam 25 times this season.
Yeah.
All right, it doesn't matter. I'm not. It doesn't shake.
And you know what? It is absolutely hokey and silly, and it was a great show. When I watched it, it was great, but I didn't watch the entire thing. I probably watched like the first decade or so of the show, and then somewhere around like 12, 13, 14, it just kept being like the angel dude, and like they had Booger as God or something.
Booger, Curtis Armstrong was he wasn't God. He was Metatron. I think he was Metatron.
Metatron. Okay.
Yeah, Booger. Curtis Armstrong. That's right. It was Booger.
Yeah. So I was like, this one like, whatever. Anyway, I was, it's at a certain point, I was like, I don't really know what's going on. And like, it doesn't really like,
dude. So I follow him on Facebook, and he was messing. I don't know why, but I saw it come, not Facebook, Twitter. And I saw it come up like a couple of weeks ago that the movie Better Off Dead was trending, and he was talking about that movie. Do you remember that movie Better Off Dead with John Cusack and him, Curtis Armstrong? And was it John Cusack? Yeah, it was John Cusack, and it was a ski movie, kind of a ski movie in high school, and it was a who made it? I don't remember who made it. It was one of those 80s directors.
It says it was directed by Savage Steve Holland.
Savage Steve Holland. Yeah, Savage Steve Holland.
I don't know that I've ever seen this.
Oh, that's
maybe I have. I'd have to see a clip or something.
You know the clip where the little kid goes, "I want my $2 cash." Have you ever heard that little meme clip or whatnot?
I don't think I have.
No. There's a lot of really great lines from that movie. That's a good movie, but he was in that, and they were just talking about it the other day. Anyway, let's go back to this thing.
Right. Okay.
I think this is going to be it's a prequel, right? So Tom Welling has to be playing John Winchester.
Guys, with the prequels, Hollywood.
I know.
Come on. Stop with the prequels. It don't work. It never works. It never works. All right, Supernatural. I mean, look, you have characters with a mysterious history and background, and you're able to cultivate a mysterious history and background. And then your big gag is like, oh, we need something else to make revenue. We'll just go back and explore that. Did it work for Wolverine? No, it doesn't work for anybody. Prequels don't work for any. Didn't work for Star Wars. Don't work for Wolverine. It doesn't work for anybody. So anyway, that being said, maybe it'll be good. Supernatural spinoff The Winchesters premiered last week.
Oh, it's already on. Oh, wow.
Did you watch it?
No, I did not.
I mean, I will watch it to see who's he going to play. Let's find out who he's going to play.
John,
It's not too.
the house that he's playing John Winchester. He looks like John Winchester.
Listen,
Doesn't he?
if you're like, even though I'm against
Ham and Dean.
Yeah, he kind of does. So if that's true, I will buy in. I will be like, I don't like prequels, but I'll watch Tom Welling be a Winchester and wrestle with the devil for I don't know 5 years.
And if it is about John Winchester, then he's going to be Sam and Dean are going to be young, and it's going to be his adventures going out searching for the yellow-eyed demon and trying to avenge his wife's death. You know, that's what it's going to be about.
Hold on, right here. Hold on. Look, as
does it
reported by Deadline, the former Superman actor has been cast in the recurring role
Samuel
Campbell.
He's their grandfather, the bald guy. Do you remember Samuel?
He's played by Mitch Pileggi in the original series.
Yeah. You'll have to look him up. Look him up real quick.
Yeah,
Type in that name in Google. Look him up. You'll know.
Yeah, Mitch Pileggi. Oh, I love him. Hold on, let me bring him over. Go here for a second. Yes, this guy. Where I've seen this guy in so much stuff. X-Files. Skinner, right? Played Skinner in X-Files. Yes. Okay. So he was in Supernatural. Tom Welling will be playing that guy, Sam Campbell, veteran hunter who's the head of the Campbell dynasty. Samuel believes that he's always knows the best way to get things done and doesn't like to be told otherwise. He's trained his daughter Mary in everything she knows, but their relationship is hugely strained.
Yeah, do you know? You didn't watch those episodes? I guess in the later seasons with when they met. They went back in time.
I remember when they went back in time. They did Back to the Future or something.
But they ended up seeing him. He ended up coming. The grandfather ended up coming back in even later seasons and whatnot for a couple of episodes or whatnot.
Yeah. And they had Mary. I saw Mary. I saw young Mary, and then like didn't they rescue Mary from hell or something? I don't know.
I probably.
Okay, hold on. This is the real question. Can Tom obviously in Tom.
Sorry.
Can Tom Welling be progressed from a handsome fella here to a handsome fella with a no hair? Can he be Mitch?
I don't. Is he going? Are they going to make him bald? I mean, if he's going to be younger, I had hair when I was younger.
Sure, but
if somebody's gonna play me in a series, I want them to have a head of hair. I'll play a younger me.
I mean,
I used to have bangs that went down to my mouth.
Let's just see what Mitch looked like when he was on Supernatural. You gotta be consistent. That's all I'm saying. If they had
just like that, that's him in Supernatural,
right there, right?
But he's looked like that since 1980. You go back to a movie where he's in 1980 and he looks just like that.
So I'm saying I'm 100% on board for Tom Welling being in this as him with a full
bald. You want bald? Okay, all right.
Cool. Full head of hair, and I don't know why I can't go back. There we go. And guys, over the course of let's say the first 5 years, let's just progressively remove it. You know what I mean?
I don't want to progressively remove it. That sucks, man. I don't want him to go through that.
Tom, for the art. You got to do it. You got to do it. All right. We had actual news to talk about. I don't know.
A bunch of stories to talk about. We had to talk about it.
Let's see. Not going to talk about that because that has the coof word. Oh, his back's hurting too. FBI agent Tim Thibault will not testify before the House Judiciary Committee on the Hunter Biden probe. Okay. The guy that covered up the evidence for the Hunter Biden laptop will not testify before Congress. That's some important news for you.
Why not? Why won't he?
Congress
why won't he answer truthful questions about this laptop? That's fine.
Allegedly covered it up. Allegedly, but he no longer works for the FBI. So,
but fuck Donald Trump.
Yeah,
he didn't do it for Hillary either, but fuck the orange man. I mean, he needs to go to prison. I don't care what he's done. He needs prison.
Yeah, we can't afford to run against him because all of our candidates are cardboard trash. Yeah. So Tim Thibault will not be testifying. Also, let's see. Congress is the J6 committee is trying to subpoena Donald Trump. Donald Trump wants to testify before the J6 committee, and also he's Dershowitz, Alan Dershowitz, if you know, the legal scholar, a constitutional scholar, has kind of been out there messaging like, don't do this, Donald. don't go up there on the stage. There's no win. The J6 committee is entirely run by a team with an agenda. Obviously, nothing legitimate is coming out of it. So Donald Trump is being kind of subpoenaed to testify. We'll see if that happens or not. Don't know. Saudi Arabia claims that Joe Biden asked to delay the oil cuts by 1 month in order to raise to benefit the elections of the Democrats. You know, OPEC Plus and Russia obviously are aligning. OPEC is cutting supply. They're cutting, I think, by 2 million barrels a day. That is going to drop the worldwide oil supply, which is going to raise your gas prices. Saudi Arabia says it's for economic purposes. And Joe Biden went over there and said, please, Mr. Murderer MBS, the man that killed Khashoggi.
Purposes. It's their fucking economic purpose. Yeah, it's for economic
for them, not us, not you. Definitely not you.
Purposes.
But
fuckers.
Do you believe that Joe Biden went over there and said, hey, we need you to keep these stand for the American people, for American good. Keep these production levels up because we need this energy
Yes, he did.
Keep it there forever. Don't drop it down, right? No, he said, don't announce the cut until after the election, 30 days. Just hold off.
No, you're right about that. You're right about that.
Joe Biden does not work for us, guys. He's not interested in helping America.
He
wants you to pay $5 a gallon of gas, and then he wants you to pay $10 a gallon of gas because he wants you to stop buying gas because he promised some girl in the street that we're going to destroy oil. FJB. All right.
The girl that he sniffed and told her that he should.
Yeah, no, not that girl. This is a different girl.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, do you remember?
I don't understand how anybody still defends that guy. I don't understand how anybody defends that guy. If somebody defends Joe Biden to me, I judge you automatically.
I got a new clip of him sniffing some girl this weekend.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I know. Do you remember Married with Children?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Al Bundy's.
He's just so funny. A little crass, super funny. There's this one episode that cracked me up so many times. Every time I heard this line, I just died laughing. It was Al on the sitting on the couch with his son Bud. Okay, and they were talking about something, and Al was trying to share a little bit of wisdom about how there's real survivors in this world. And he it was like a one camera comedy show or something like that. So it's a head on shot of of Al and Bud sitting on the couch. And Al says to his son, you see that cockroach over there? And Bud says, that one there? And Al says, no, not that one over there. Well, any of them. So that's Joe Biden and sniffing girls. You see that Joe Biden clip of sniffing girls over there? That one? No, not that one. No. And you know what?
Any of them, really. Any of them.
Every time. I died laughing. It was so hilarious. I cried. Anyway. Okay. So Saudi Arabia, Joe Biden.
We watched that show as a kid as like Bud Bundy. We watched it from Bud and Kelly's perspective, and now go back and watch it from Al Bundy's perspective,
right?
As a dad, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
bro. I would sit there with my hand down my, and I'm not like holding anything, and that's what Ashley's like. You're sitting there with your hand. I'm like, no, I'm not. It's just at my waistline. I'm not even doing anything.
Yeah, it's I'm just being comfortable. Let's see. Joe Biden's. I swear I'm going to be fast on this. I know your back's hurt. Joe Biden announced last week that they're going to, their plan to deal with migrants coming from Venezuela crossing the border in the multiple thousands is to provide 24,000 citizenships for Venezuela, and that's going to stem the tide of the migrants crossing from Venezuela. Turns out that actually that is not working as intended. I know you're surprised and shocked, but Venezuelan immigrants continue to flood the El Paso border despite the deportation mandate that is imposed as part of that. So Joe Biden's given 24,000 Venezuelan citizenship, deporting the rest to Mexico, and then they are just coming right back across the border. So that's shocking. We couldn't have seen that coming. And last thing that I have here.
That's like...
we live in clown world, bro.
No,
it's
like you driving to Arkansas, and when you get to Arkansas, they go, "No, motherfucker, come on," and they put you on a bus and they take you back to Texas, and you drive back to Arkansas.
You're like, I'm trying to get to Arkansas. I'm going to go to Arkansas.
On these fucking people. All right.
Yeah. All right. Here's the last thing. And this is something I haven't told you about. Now, we have a real problem in America, and that's because we by 2035. We need to be outlawing gas cars and buying electric cars. And, we can't really make them because we can't make microprocessors. We don't have enough.
I can't even get a PlayStation. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. So this is a thread from Jordan Schneider over on Twitter. And he is an analyst on China and technology. Yeah, and he's posted this over the weekend, a thread. The United States government's new export controls are wreaking havoc on China's chip industry. So I'm going to give Joe Biden a little bit of credit here. I don't exactly know if all of the details here, but apparently Joe Biden imposed sanctions on United States citizens working in China in the tech industry, such that these new rules around U.S. persons are driving an industry-wide decapitation. Following the following is the translation of a thread posted earlier this week. Lots of people don't know what happened yesterday. To put it simply, Biden has forced all Americans working in China to choose between quitting their jobs and losing American citizenship. Every American executive and engineer working in China's semiconductor manufacturing industry resigned yesterday, paralyzing Chinese manufacturing overnight. One round of sanctions did more damage than all 4 years of performative sanctioning under Trump. Although American semiconductor exporters had to apply for licenses during the Trump years, licenses were approved within a month. With the new Biden sanctions, all American suppliers of IP blocks, components, and services departed overnight, cutting off all service to China. So every advanced node semiconductor company is currently facing comprehensive supply cutoffs, resignations from all American staff, and immediate operations paralysis. We'll have to see how this goes.
Yeah, wow.
I don't know if we could bring manufacturing, especially high-tech manufacturing, back to the United States, that would be good. And if so, I will give Joe Biden credit on that.
There are places that are opening. I know that there is one that's opening close to me that when I was reading about it, and it was something they make. They don't make chips, but it was something, in the tech manufacturing. Because I was like, oh, that's cool. Because they were like, we're going to be hiring 80 people or some shit like that, 40 people. Like, oh, that's kind of cool. And it was something coming to our little area, I think Paducah. So are you reading the chat? I see your face.
Yeah, I'm trying to scroll up here, and I'm like, I see Do Good in chat and Mr. E. I think my brother and Mr. E are having some sort of an argument, and I'm not getting involved.
It's good to see everybody in the chat. No, I'm not going to get involved.
Yeah, I'm not getting involved. They're all adults. They can handle each other.
I'm glad. We love you. Yeah, I'm glad to see everybody in the chat. Do Good. Yeah. It's good to see Do Good in the chat.
Yeah, hey, Do Good. So Do Good says
school
best show ever. Oh, it looks like they were calling maybe Better Call Saul was the best show ever. Maybe, I'm not sure. Let's see. I don't know what they're talking about.
Focus stuff you like. You reconsidered shadowing. Okay, that's a.
Mr. E says he's not arguing. Hey, I'm not arguing. It doesn't matter. Do you not hurt my feelings? Argue. Disagree, don't argue. You're all good. All right, that's all. I mean, I gotta get going.
Movies.
We got movies. Oh, monster movies.
We didn't even do that. I know you got to go though. You want to do it tomorrow?
I made the title.
know
No,
you
I
made the
got
damn
a list.
title.
Hold on. No, I made the title. Let me pull my list up. My bad. I'm sorry. I
No,
was
you're good.
trying. I saw you doing your standing thing. I was like, oh my god, I gotta be more thoughtful about Deacon and his.
It's just my back is really killing me this morning. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Okay. So last week we did 4 scary movies. We'll do back and forth real fast if you have some.
Okay.
And I realized I had one of the most important movies ever not in the list last week. Let's see. What did I do last week? I think I did last week I did I think I did Slither, 30 Days of Night, American Werewolf in Paris, and I'm not sure.
I don't remember what mine were last week.
Yeah. I'm okay. So I'm gonna pick. Here's 4 more. Now these are not the top. We're trying to get to the for Halloween. We're trying to get to for Halloween. One of the best monster movies of all time, Event Horizon.
Ooh.
Event Horizon.
Ooh, that's a.
Have you ever seen?
Yeah, that's a good
A
one.
spaceship goes to hell, dude. It goes through hell and brings demons back with it. I remember watching that in the theater in like 1996. Do you remember the first time? How many times have you seen Event Horizon? I haven't seen it. I've seen it maybe 4 times.
I haven't.
Oh, 97. It came out in 97.
4.
It has Lawrence Fishburne and Sam Neill. And before that, oh, come on, showstopper. Hold on, just. Oh, she was wrestling with my dog. Okay, so Event Horizon is probably one of the best scary monster movies ever. Although it's a science fiction horror movie, I think it's a scary monster movie because like there's just some wild stuff that happens in that movie. I believe that I said American Werewolf in Paris last week, and that is also one of my. I watched it again after we talked last week. You said American Werewolf in London. I watched American Werewolf in London, and then I watched American Werewolf in Paris again. And is it film art? No. Is it a lot of fun? Absolutely, and it's more fun than the London version. I will say this though: young people in movies. Teenagers, kids in movies, and Werewolf in London, and this, not kids, like those were like 30-year-old men playing like a 22-year-old, and I was, I don't know if it's just the era or the time or whatever, but like, if you watch young people from old movies, they do not appear to be as young as they did as you maybe remember them. Okay, so Event Horizon. Also,
that's a good one.
See, that's not a monster movie, but I have another Sam Neill movie. Have you ever seen In the Mouth of Madness?
No,
it's not a monster movie, but it is kind of like a crazy psychological horror movie. Okay, but it's also good. It's got Sam Neill. I just really like Sam Neill. You will remember good. Sam Neill from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Oh yeah, really good. Okay, here's another. I think super fun monster movie. 13 Ghosts. Have you ever seen 13 Ghosts?
Yeah. The old one or the new or both? I guess.
There's a new one.
No. I thought that there was an old. I thought that there was an old like.
Oh, you want to hear? Okay, you can listen. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they made another version of it or not. But
an old like black and white one.
Oh, okay. Well, the one I'm thinking of is from 2001, and it involved maybe it is a remake. I don't know. If I recall correctly, the house itself is some sort of a puzzle, a death trap puzzle.
60s version.
Oh, is it really?
It was made in 1960. Yeah.
And everybody that like dies in the house ends up being a ghost haunting the house, and it is a silly and fun monster movie. I'll do 2 more. Cabin in the Woods. I don't think I said Cabin in the Woods last week. Cabin in the Woods.
That one was going to be on one of mine.
Oh,
Yeah,
was it? That's
very
it. This is a Drew Goddard directed film. Drew Goddard is part of like Team Joss Whedon, or I think. And okay, let's not play with that. It has I don't know, a bunch of nobodies and also Chris Hemsworth. This is he actually filmed this before he did Thor. He was in this before he did Thor, but it was in kind of like production or post production or whatever. It came out like after Thor, I believe. Oh, thank you. See, this is why I don't let you play with headphones.
How can you fix it?
Yes, I'm gonna fix it, and I'm not gonna give it back to you. The scene where Chris Hemsworth attempts to escape the monster park. No, not giving it to you. You broke it. On a motorcycle. See, there's this kind of like cabin in the woods actually takes place under or above or around within this like monster park where the government is running all these monsters to create weapons or something like that. And once the kids are in the monster park, they're basically like monster food. And there's a canyon around the monster park, or kind of a gulf or whatever. And Chris Hemsworth, his character, attempts to jump the canyon in a motorcycle to get across the gap to get rescue. And that scene is super funny. So Cabin in the Woods. And then my last one, I don't know if I said this one last week or not, but Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers. Jeremy, stop being offensive to people. Jeepers Creepers, 2001. This, I think I may have mentioned this one last week. This has the one with the truck. And, you know, there's like a bad guy's a vampire or something like that. But the truck itself is actually the really intimidating thing on screen. So Jeepers Creepers, that's my monster movies. You got any monster movies? Oh, he's on the phone. Okay. Hey. Do you want to say good morning to Uncle Jeremy and the rest of your audience?
Who?
Just say good morning. Say good morning.
Is Deacon in the audience?
Oh, Deacon's over there on the telephone. Do you want to say good morning and today's going to be a good day?
I don't have to do my monster movies. We can do it tomorrow.
Oh yeah, sure, we can do it
Good
tomorrow.
morning.
I don't want to be rushed.
Have a great day.
Yeah, it's not as fun if we have to rush through it. Sorry about the title card, got it goofed up, but we ended up talking about other stuff. How am I supposed to know what we're going to talk about during the show in advance? I do the best I can.
That's crazy.
Can you say good morning and today's going to be a good day?
Good morning. It's gonna be a good day.
Today's going to be the best day, guys. This is the best day ever. Tomorrow's show is going to be even better. So, Jeremy, so you have TDS then. Come on.
All right. Look,
Come on, man.
Peace out.
I was that offensive.
All right.
All right. Guys, hold on. Here's the outro. I worked hard on it. And if you haven't already, hit the like, subscribe button. Here we go.